if you don't stand up and cheer, like, you're weird. You know what I mean? Like, you're weird if you don't cheer for your team. And it's the same in worship.
Something that I so desire everyone to know is that the stage is not the only way to worship.
Yeah. To be honest, music has never been something I've pursued. I told the Lord, I want to do anything but worship and write songs. Like anything. Wow. And so for you to give creatives a community to do life with, like, we'll eradicate loneliness.
Yeah.
Like, we'll write good songs, sure, but we'll eradicate loneliness, and we'll eradicate depression and anxiety and suicide, and we'll give people a community to do life with like-minded believers. I'm going to totally throw you under the bus because this is my favorite story. Any person that wants to get better at engaging a room, you should lead kids worship.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, welcome to the For the Glory podcast, where we spotlight what God is doing in the music industry all around the world. We talk music, culture, and the kingdom. We hope you enjoy.
Today, I am joined by Jordan and Drew from the worship group called Herebelions. It's been so lovely to connect with you just before this call. I already feel like we're besties, so this has been great.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are based in Nashville, Nashville, Tennessee.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. You guys are telling me you come every year to Australia, and I have yet to see you, and I'm really excited for the next time you guys come because now I know.
Sydney's our favorite place. We love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So exciting. I'm so honored to be sitting with you guys today. Thank you for your time and thank you for jumping on. I decided today that before we get into things, that I would love to do a songwriting speed round interview with you guys. And I have these preps in front of me, guys. I'm so excited. You have no idea. This was not pre-planned. It was literally just right now.
I'm so nervous.
Okay.
But it's fine because it's just this or that. Okay. Are you ready? All right, let's go.
All right, ready.
Lyrics or melody?
Melody.
First. Title or hook?
Hook.
I can't believe
We're going to be the exact same.
That would probably make sense. Major or minor?
Minor. I don't play the instrument, so he probably gets
if I'm playing minor, but sometimes it's a good major. But yeah.
Okay. That's
minor bridges.
Right?
Minor safe.
Oh yeah, 100%. Keys or guitar?
Oh.
You don't play guitar.
No, I only play keys, but I love a good acoustic.
I know. I play more guitar, but I have a soft spot for keys.
Piano. I like keys.
Yeah.
But I do love when you play guitar.
When you guys are songwriting, do you gravitate towards one or the other? For ease?
I feel like I can think better playing the piano, but unless it's like upbeat, I'll get a guitar out.
Yeah, if I get stuck, I almost always have to move to the piano to spur more ideas. Yeah.
Okay. Love that. Notes or memos, like voice memos?
Ooh, memos.
Yeah, voice memos.
I have it, my phone, the side button, I have it set to just record voice memos. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
There we go.
And when I'm on, like, if anytime I travel, I make myself go through and clean out my voice memos. It's like the craziest project of all time.
That's so smart. Oh my gosh. Because you're on like a 15-hour flight and you might as well. Like, you don't need Wi-Fi for that.
You might as well. It takes forever, but it's good.
Rewrite or first draft? Trust your gut, going with it, or you're going to edit it.
Yeah. I'd try not to. If I can help it, we'll get it all done first try.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay, similarly, fast finish or let it sit, like let it linger before releasing?
That's great.
I feel like I will say like a quick finish because usually, like what you just said, your gut instinct is the right one. And sometimes the longer, I don't know, I've had both experience where the longer I've sat on it, the more I've like engulfed it. But also sometimes your initial instinct is just the way that the Lord's leading it. And that's
yeah. Sometimes you'll think it's like just so good. And then you'll listen to it the next day and be like, ooh, I wrote that? That's not. Or you'll think it's like, that wasn't that good. And then everybody's like, I love that song. I'm like,
yeah. You never know. Okay. Good answer. I like that. One at a time songwriting or multiple?
A lot of times we'll do a first song and I'll really like that song. And we got like 30 minutes left and we just throw one out and then that one ends up
Smash
being
one
better. Or like, what?
I would say
Same.
literally probably 75% of the songs we have out came from the second song of the right
Yeah.
by accident.
100%.
Interesting.
100%.
Hey, that's so
Yeah.
interesting, actually. Wow. Okay.
It's like the more tired you get,
Yeah.
the more in your
Yeah.
creativity you get.
I get less
Yeah,
stressed
the
the
more-
second one.
Yeah.
the more Jesus takes
Yeah.
the wheel and writes it for you.
Yeah. There's the song. Yeah. Amen.
That's so funny.
Awesome.
Morning or nights?
Night.
Yeah. Nighttime.
Okay. Are we recording in the church or in a studio?
Church.
Church mostly.
Discipline or inspiration?
Inspiration.
Oh no.
This might be the mix of our personality.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'll say
But also there
discipline,
can be a
just,
balance.
Just to balance it
Just-
out.
gotta
Yeah,
balance it
we
out.
got to balance between the
Little
two of
bit,
us.
little
Yeah,
bit.
we bring both.
Headphones or speakers? Specifically when you're listening to like the first demo replay, headphones or speakers?
Speakers.
Okay, my answer is not either, but my car is a 2012. She's an old gal, but her speaker system is fantastic. And I literally will go outside to my car,
Car speakers.
no matter the weather,
gosh.
and I will get in there to listen to either the first draft of a song or a new album that comes out. That's where I go.
Yeah.
You know what? I need to repent for coveting right now because my car speakers are trash. And I'm just imagining how amazing that experience would be because I love my
Oh,
car. I
man.
love my car. But
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I actually need to get replaced. It's really bad. It sounds like a blender
Oh
with
my
like
God.
nails in it every time I put it above like 10 decibels. Anyway,
Oh no.
next
That's
question.
so funny.
2 more left. Alone or in a group?
Group.
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 100%.
Last question. Home or away?
Ooh. That's a
I don't know.
it's away is it's fun.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like more of an experience, but at home it's like more natural. Maybe.
Especially if you're writing with
Yeah.
other people, like it's really cool to experience cultures that are outside
Yeah.
of yours. And like I would say when we write a lot with our church,
Mhm.
and our
Mhm.
culture is so ingrained in everyone there. So you're writing a lot of the same stuff
Yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
But when you branch out, like we just went to a college and wrote with them, and we were saying like the songs that we got there are so different
Yeah.
because the culture we were in was so different. And so
Yeah.
both
that's
are fun.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Do you guys do songwriting like getaways ever? Like little
We just did one
Retreat.
with our church,
Uh-huh.
like not very far away, and it was really fun.
That was super fun.
yeah,
It
it's
like
cute.
when you get taken out of everything else and
Yeah.
you get to just focus on those specific things. It's
Yeah.
different. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, thank you for participating in that speed round. That was incredible. Lived up to every
That was awesome.
expectation that I had.
Those questions
So
are
good.
so good. I love that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's the
I
best.
literally wrote them out like, one by one. Praise
I
the
love
Lord.
it.
So awesome.
Amazing.
So let's get into it. I had a question about your guys' band name for anybody who may be new to you guys. Can you give us like maybe a background into where that came from, and has it been like translating in a different kind of way as the seasons have gone? Because I know you guys have been around for a while with different generations of the band. Give us
For
a little
sure.
insight there.
We were actually just debating this. Like we were talking through this earlier, but yeah. So our ministry actually used to be our dad's name. It used to be called Dustin Smith Ministries. And Herebelions or Dustin Smith Ministries was started when I was probably like, 9 or 10, and I'm 24 now. And so a
Crazy.
lot of years ago. And and as we started traveling as a team, my dad always tells this story when God told him, you have kind of done yourself a disservice by making an entire team function underneath your name when you're wanting to raise disciples. who all have to function under Dustin Smith Ministries. And so the Lord like really took him on this journey. And he tells this story better than I will ever tell it. But there was this group of people, and they were pioneers, and they were basically going to unmarked territory, uncharted waters. And they would stamp a map that said, "Here be lions." And it was to say, like, we're here, basically, to tell other people, like, this territory has been taken and it's been marked by us. And so that was kind of the initiation of that. But we've kind of taken it a little further since then, saying, not only do we want to come and do we want to mark this land, but we actually want to raise up lions inside of it. We actually want to awaken people, to equip people, for people to encounter Jesus. And what's awesome is actually, as a worship team, you would think we go to a lot of churches. We actually go to churches the least. We go to so many business events, community events, and it's awesome to see, like, it feels like unmarked territory that we get to go into, and we get to bring Jesus into places where people actually don't get to encounter him often. So, yeah,
it's really just, now it's become, or as long as it's been herebelions, it's been seeking out the others to raise them up and empower others in whatever way it is. There's multiple branches of our ministry now, as there has been for a while. There's Healing is Right, there's Be Fierce, and other things. But like, it's flown into even our church now, as like everything we do is empowering others to rise up and find their voice as well. And I think that's powerful.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, that is so cool. I had no idea that was like, a twofold meaning. That's really cool. I love that. And you guys said you had different like branches of the ministry. I read a little bit about it, but can you guys let our audience know, besides the worship ministry and putting out and releasing songs, what else do you guys do with your church community there?
Yeah,
in Nashville.
We lead worship for a lot of business events, and because of that, I would say, like, we just did one this last weekend, and a couple hundred people gave their lives to the Lord. We do one once a year that's like 20,000 people, and we probably saw 3,000 people come up and give their lives to the Lord for the first time. It's honestly unlike anything I've ever seen, and it's like very I don't even know how to explain the feeling of when you watch someone come up and they just like break before the Lord for the first time. It's beautiful. But because of that, a lot of our mission, we have the herebelions as an app, and a lot of our mission goes towards people who have just encountered Jesus for the first time. So we do a lot of devotionals. We have online pastors who kind of work through counseling sessions for people who are like, what do I do next now that I got saved? And a lot of them don't have a home church because they just got saved at a business event. And so a lot of our stuff is geared towards that. But really, herebelions has really expanded in the last, I would say, 10 years. We have a church now. We have a business side, and it just kind of branches off. But herebelions, I would say the main focus is we do worship, and then we equip a lot of new believers.
That's incredible. I love that. Such a biblical framework as well, like, going in and equipping the saints and bringing people to the Lord. That's like our ultimate goal is, to make him known in the world. So well done, guys. That's so encouraging to see. That's not just this like music project, but it's something even deeper. I love that. That's so beautiful. You also mentioned you guys are like close-knit with your dad. So your dad started out the ministry. And you guys are siblings, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. So, how does it, because I'm part of like a church where I'm very close, like we've got, my cousins are in ministry, my auntie and uncle lead the church, and so I can kind of understand like family dynamics in that sense is like can be interesting. But for you guys, like, how do you guys balance being all of those things to each other? Like, you're co-writers, you're leaders together, you're artists, siblings, family. Like, how does that kind of play out?
There is no balance. No, I think really it's more just what we've been raised to be. Like, it's, I think for both of us, it doesn't feel like anything separate. And there's boundaries, of course. There's safeguards, there's things to keep it healthy, but it's always just been a part of life. Like this is what we do. It's not something we have to grab for. It's just how we've been raised in ministry and life. Like we serve, we worship. Like these are, it's all interconnected with boundaries and with health, but it's all kind of one thing. Like I don't separate my work and my family from my worship. Like those are worship just as much as singing. And so kind of that.
Yeah, I would say I really appreciate how our parents kind of raised us from the beginning. And when we moved to Nashville, in 2015 from Missouri. I was 15 years old. You were 10. And we have a younger brother as well, and he was like 4 or 5.
Right.
And when we moved, we actually moved with 30 people. And all sat down, decided to make this huge move together. And when we started traveling, my parents made the decision, like, we'll never make you travel without your spouse or your kids. So if that means we have to pay for 10 hotel rooms, and that means that we have to rent vans, or we drove the craziest van for so long.
Gosh.
And we would all pack in it together. And I think it really showed us, like, there was a season of my life where when I was probably 18, 19, I was like, okay, I'm going to establish healthy boundaries. Like, I'm not going to be the burnt out church person. And honestly, the more I tried to create boundaries, the harder it got for me. And I just, exactly what he just said, like, I was trying to separate two things that were meant to be together. And ministry and family is meant to be together. And so I think once I finally embraced that, and we're both on staff at our church as well as travel together, and our mom and dad are the senior pastors, so we get to see a lot of each other. And I won't say like that it's perfect all the time, right? That would be crazy. And if anyone has done it perfect, then please come and show us how to do it, but there's such a family, like family is the beginning of all of it. And we haven't done it perfect all the time, but we really do try, and we try to be honest with one another and have open conversations, and to always put each other first, to put God first. And one of my favorite things my dad taught me when I was younger was, every day you wake up and ask God, do you still like what I'm doing today? Yeah. And we do our best to do that in every area of our lives. Do you like how we're leading church ministry? Do you like how herebelions is functioning? Do you like, as a family, how we're operating? Yeah. And I think that's what's helped us stay healthy and move forward.
Wow, that's such a great question to be asking, right? Like, in your devotion time with the Lord, to just be like, hey, I'm actually open to correction here, God. You tell me.
100%.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's also so nice to just hear another family that's doing similar things, because, as I said, like, I can relate. And it's cool because there's, like, when you compare it to, like, maybe the relationships of the world, some siblings literally just, they grow up and they do not speak to each other, and you just don't see each other until Christmas or something like that.
So mad at you.
Yeah.
And, like, what a privilege that you guys get to, experience life together. And that's, in reality, it's just the way that God created us in general, because we are a family. He says we're one, we're brothers and sisters, we're one body. So I think you guys are doing an incredible job at, like, embodying that heart for the Lord. Wow. Thanks. That's cool. So you guys, okay, so you're putting out music and you're doing all the other incredible things. When it comes to songwriting, let's go back to songwriting. Is there ever, like, a tension that you guys experience when you're, like, trying to write a song, and you want to express so many different, like, aspects of faith? Like, maybe you're trying to go for, like, a quiet, intimate thing, a quiet, intimate, devotional kind of song, and then you want to do, like, a public proclamation. Like, does that kind of affect the way you sit down and songwrite, how you put together an album maybe, or even, like, because I've been in songwriting rooms where there's so many, like, directions that you could go. And so how do you guys, like, hone in on one?
I would say it's important to know what the song's for, and what you're doing is for. We do a lot of song camps, and that's songwriting camps, and that's kind of how we start, is getting a why. But like, if you're writing for your church, what does your church need? What can your church sing? And it's like, you can write intimate songs with the craziest lyrics and the like all the different things, but are your people going to be able to sing it? And is the message what they need? Like, are you listening to what the sermons are and connecting with those? Because there's a lot of sermons that are preached that don't have songs to sing with them. And I think it's important to know the reason you're writing, and know specifically what the song or the project or the thing is for. And if you don't go in with that, then it's a lot harder, a lot more confusion.
And I think too, even if you're not writing for anything, you're just writing yourself, like, for you to be able to ask God, why do you want me to write this song? Like, is this something that you're using just to encounter me? I have plenty of songs that nobody else should or would ever hear, right? That ministered hopefully to God from me, and also back to myself, things that God wanted to reaffirm and re-identify me with. And I think there's obviously both, right? Even in your question, like, sometimes I sit down to write and I ask God, and he says, you know what? I just want you to write a song for me today. And I'm like, okay. And then sometimes we sit down to write, and it's like, yeah, we really feel like God wants us to write a song that's going to empower our church with a weapon, with, a declaration. And I love that when we start our writing camps, like you said, with almost like a sermonette basically. And it brings so much strength to the songs because everyone's wrapping around like a common mission. And so, yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's great advice for anybody songwriting. So that's amazing. Thank you. As a team, do you have different positions in the team, like different roles and stuff like that? Because I can imagine there's a lot of people in bands that might be listening. And I think it's common and probably wise to have like one person that kind of like calls the shots or something like that, or it's like a democratic thing. But how do you guys balance that like expression of unity, maybe when you have different visions? Like, have there been like really long elongated discussions about like where you guys want to go, and then somebody just has to make the call? Or like, do you guys like pray about it together? What does that look like?
Our team, whether with herebelions or with our church, we've all been really big on making sure we work on team building and honoring the gift in the other person. Sometimes we like to pigeonhole people into a position just because we think they're good at that. But you're actually asking, if you asked me to build a business, I could probably do certain parts of it, but I would actually do a disservice to a lot of it because it's not my gifting. And I would say that's kind of in our ministry. It's up to us to recognize, you know what, these are my giftings and these are your giftings. And I honor that in you. And I don't need to be the whole. I don't need to be the person who says yes to everything. And our dad has always, and our mom too, but they've always really empowered us to make decisions. Sometimes it would always bother me because I would ask their opinion and they'd be like, well, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. That's why I asked you what you think. But I realize now that I'm an adult, like, they're actually empowering me to learn how to make a decision. And so with herebelions, my dad, even though he's more than capable of making the decision, comes to us and says, what do you guys think? And like creates that space for us. And I think it's all about when you're working with a team. Could I do it by myself? Probably. Do I want to? No. I don't want to, like, if ministry by yourself would be so hard. And I think when the Lord gives you family and he gives you a team and people with other giftings, it's so important to lean into those giftings and to recognize that being the all in all actually isn't the goal. It's actually, how can I partner with another person and how can I see the God in you and what God's put in you and how can we work that out together?
Yeah. I mean, we were never meant to do it alone. And so it's so important to not just say, this is what I'll do, this is what you could do, we'll stay separate, or even say, I'm just gonna do it all. That's not how we were made. And we strengthen each other. We pull on each other, and we actually help grow each other, even if there is tension, like that is growing if you do it in a healthy way.
That's
The other day,
right,
I'm
yeah.
gonna totally throw you under the bus because
Dude,
this is
no,
my,
that
this
was
is
so.
my favorite story.
Do it,
He
do
told
it.
all this story. But the other day we were in a ride, and I'll just give you insight to Drew. Okay, he's like the sweetest. Like if you put sweet and kind and patient in a jar and shook it around, like you would get him. I don't think people are
That's
like, what was it
lovely.
like fighting with your brother? I was like, I didn't really fight with this brother. He's just like so kind. Okay, so there's that.
Okay.
He's also a very direct communicator, though. And so we were in a ride the other day, and we had been there for like
A while.
hours.
A long time.
Yeah.
And we were like all getting to the end of ourselves. And I
Uh-huh.
finally had this idea. I was like, okay, this is good. And I, bring up your confidence to put out the idea. And it was me, him, it was our dad too, and one of our friends. And I threw out the idea. He goes, that is just really not landing for me.
Ooh.
And then he goes, I'm so sorry that I just said it like that. And I laughed because it's so like out of his personality to do
That
that.
was so good.
I laughed so hard. And so now every time he pitches an idea at work, I'm like, it's really not landing for me.
It's not landing. I love that.
That's so bad.
Anyway, I don't even know what's
So
question was
funny.
about, but
No,
My
that's
bad.
hilarious.
It's growing, stretching.
I feel like
Team
that's actually the
building.
kindest way to say it, to be honest. I can't think of any way kinder.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's just
That's
not
really
landing. I
lazy.
don't know.
Yeah. Bless you guys. That's so fun. Also, like, I feel like what I'm catching from you guys is just such a healthy community and such a healthy leadership from your parents as pastors. So, wow, that's very, very encouraging. I was going to ask, so, okay, you mentioned you guys you worship lead at a bunch of like business conferences, and I'm assuming in church as well. Has there ever been have you guys ever witnessed a moment that's really gone beyond what you originally thought maybe a song would have brought to a congregation? Maybe like something that's been surprising, or like a testimony from one of those songs?
Yeah, I would say like the moment that a song goes past what you thought it was for, and even like when you're leading and you sing and you stop singing and the congregation just keeps singing. I've done that before with other people's songs and people grab it, but I had never, the first time I'd never done it with something I had written. And I think the first time I did that happened with the song I had written was In Over My Head. And like, I think it's important. Something I learned from that was in songwriting, in life, personal revelation is not always for yourself. And that song meant so much to me in a moment. It was based off a sermon, and I originally thought it was for me. Like it was for my betterment, my growth and mine. And I think it's weirdly easy to take God's words selfishly, in like not in a bad-hearted way, but it's really a selfish thing to think everything God says is for you. And I didn't realize that until that moment. And I realized like something that I thought was for me that got turned into a song is actually just so people could be closer to God. And like that's how it got used, not just for my thinking and how I process life. It can go beyond you. Probably that.
For sure.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I'd honestly say the same.
100%.
I think when you realize that a song, like a lot of the songs that we have out have super deep meanings to us, or they were written through tough times, or, like you said, this sermon that really impacted him. And when you watch somebody encounter the song and it means that much to them, you realize like your testimony, like of what you've just written, has become hope for somebody else. And that's really beautiful.
Wow. And we could never fathom like even what the Lord would do with a song when we're writing it anyways. That's pretty cool.
Right.
He's that side of all of that. Also, just side note, that song is so beautiful, and your harmonies, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. Have you guys been singing together like all of your life? Like, how did you like learn how to harmonize together?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Okay, it sounds like
all
that.
of our family is really like just loves music.
Yeah.
When we moved to Nashville, it was kind of overwhelming because when we lived in Missouri, nobody did music. And so my family was just kind of like weird. But like my grandpa and my grandma, they all have, my grandpa has his master's in music, and my grandma went to school for music. My aunts and uncles love music. My mom directed choirs when we were young.
Yeah.
And so I think we've just been around it our whole lives. And we always worshiped at home when we were younger. So I think it was just
lots and lots of singing and music together.
Yeah. Wow. What a generational blessing. That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being in Nashville, right? Okay. As I mentioned before, I've never been to Nashville, but I have just heard such incredible things about it and heard that it's like the epicenter of Christian music. And as you mentioned, like everybody there does music. So it must be normal. And it's like a place that I'll speak from my personal experience. A lot of Australians are like, if you want to get into Christian music, you have to go to Nashville. Like you have to move there and you know, be there. I would just ask, like, first, what's your experience been like there? Because you mentioned it slightly, but I'd love to go deeper. But then also, would you guys have like any piece of advice for somebody like the Australian or maybe some from a different state in America that feels like they can't go anywhere or can't move forward unless they go to a place like Nashville? Yeah, would you say that they have to come, or what's your stance on that?
Hey guys, I don't mean to interrupt, and this is not really an ad, it's more just like informing you of what you might be missing out on. If you have only known us as a podcast, let me tell you, there is so much more that For the Glory has their hands on, and I think you might really enjoy it. We have a bunch of curated playlists ready for you on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube, and we put you on to a bunch of new artists from a wide range of genres. We also have a blog where we do artist interviews, where we get to go to live music shows all around the world. We're on social media, we're doing features, we're partnering with people's local events. We're platforming Christian artists that are covering other Christian artist songs on our segment called Covered. We do album reviews, and ultimately, we want to point people back to Christ. Not only that, but if you haven't heard already, we're launching an online community space called Glory Gather for all Christians within the music industry. Whether you're aspiring to be in it or you're already in there and you're advanced, this is for you. If you're interested at all, you can head to our website now, www.wearefortheglory.com/glorygather, and you can find all the information there. Sign up, show your interest, join the movement, find family, find discipleship, and get developed all in one place. If any of that piques your interest, or if you have been blessed by For the Glory's ministry in any kind of way, would you consider sewing in financially? I'd love to pull back the curtains and let you guys know that we don't actually earn any money. We're all volunteer. Every person part of For the Glory puts in their time and effort just to glorify God and just to see his people platformed, equipped, come together under music. And so if the Lord is tugging on your heart to sow into us and what we're doing, it doesn't even have to be a big amount. You can head to our About section on our website, and it's made really easy for you there. Enjoy the rest of this episode, and thank you so much for listening.
I would say this is like a cheesy phrase, but people always say the grass is greener on the other side. And to be honest, the grass is greener where you water it. And everyone in Nashville, it's all about perspective, because it's really easy to come to Nashville and actually most people lose hope that they'll ever do anything because of how many people live here that do it. I mean, you could literally go to your next you could go to your next door neighbor and they can sing. Like I 100% bet my life they could sing if I walked over there. And it's so cool because there is such a creativity over Nashville. I've never experienced anything like it. And I would never want to devalue what the Lord's put on the city, you know? And so I'm trying to hold both at the same time to tell you, like,
of course,
yes, there is a beautiful creativity in Nashville. At the same time, back to the point of what Drew said earlier, you know, when we were in Missouri, my dad started writing songs for our church based off the sermons. And I remember as a little girl hearing my dad play his piano, and he didn't know how to play the piano. He taught himself because our church needed a piano player. And he taught himself how to play piano, and he taught himself how to write songs. And it truly filled a need that our church was looking for.
Yeah.
And those songs, he always laughs because we have those songs ingrained in our memory.
Everything.
Like from when we were really little. He's like, stop singing those. Those songs are terrible. But they're actually like, they're markers for our lives. And they're like what we grew up on, and they were so needed in our church. And I would just say to someone, like, don't get discouraged, because if the Lord's asked you to do something, he's going to be faithful to do what he needs to do with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, come to Nashville if you want, right? But I think it's always important to ask God, like, if he's asking you to do it there, maybe it's so that you can be water in a desert. You know, maybe it's so that you can bring streams where they don't already exist.
It's easy to be discouraged if you have no one around you, but you should really be encouraged. I think that you get to be the Jesus to someone in that space that no one else can be, because there's not anyone else there.
Yeah. That's powerful. I love that. It's a great revelation and encouraging to me even. Yeah, 100%. Do you guys have, like, in Nashville, is there like community all the time? Like, do you find like every weekend there's something to go to, or like maybe like a songwriting meetup or something like that? Is it just like constant, or do you feel like you have to kind of pave your way to find those connections? What's it like there?
We do so much. It's awesome.
Yeah. I would say community. I would say though our community comes from our church.
Yeah, 100%.
So I actually would say songwriting wise, again, it's the healthy balance of like, when we first moved here, I told the Lord, I was 15, and at the time I had been to hundreds of churches already because we were traveling with our nonprofit with herebelions so much, leading worship at churches. And I told the Lord, I had seen so much good, but I had also seen so much hurt. And I told the Lord, I want to do anything but worship and write songs, like anything. Wow. And when I got to college age, when I turned 18, I told the Lord, either I want to go to school for nursing or I don't want to go to school at all, and I'll build a business or something like that. And in a worship night, I had two people come up to me and they said, Jordan, you're being disobedient to God by not going into worship, and you know it. One person who knew me so well and one person who didn't. And I was like, man. And that night, it was the end of July, so most college applications had completely closed. And I called the Belonging, their partner of Southeastern University, and I said, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I think the Lord's calling me into worship, and I just wondered if you'd accept my application. And they were like, yep, you're accepted. Let's do this. And I was like, wow. Okay. And yeah, I don't even say this in an elevated way, but to be honest, music has never been something I've pursued. I love it. I love it with my family. We both love to write songs, but we have never, ever said, like, let's go look for a label or let's go look for someone to accept us. Like, it's honestly, I think when you can find your identity, and that's not a bad thing if someone's done that, but just our experience has been like, the more rooted you are in who God says that you are, the more that you just walk in obedience. And when I actually went to school for a year, I dropped out, came back to my church, and I thought, okay, I've gone to school for worship. I'm going to be the worship pastor. And you know what my job is? I'm the kids pastor. I don't even do anything with worship. And the Lord has honestly taught me more about worship through kids ministry than I could ever learn on a stage. Wow. And because of that, songwriting opportunities have actually just flown out of nowhere. Like, literally out of nowhere. So cool. It's like such a testimony. But I would just say, like, to someone else or to my younger self, like, just be faithful in what God puts in your hands. And if he can trust you with the small things, he can trust you with the big things. And he promises in his word to be faithful to what he says he'll do. And so, sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
No, I think
I love that.
The Bible says, Bible says man makes his plans and God directs his path, and you have to be willing to shift. And
Yeah.
you are willing to shift by not being what you thought God was pulling you to. And we don't chase music, but we're in it because we're willing to shift with whatever he wants us to shift to. Even herebelions we haven't been doing songs for so long. We just started doing them again, but it's because we were willing to listen and obey when he asked us to start a church or travel. And I think that's so important to that point is being willing to shift when you're asked to.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, obedience is so key.
That answer was like so different that I just gave from the question that you asked. But yes, we do have community.
Honestly, I'm so glad. No, it completely answers the question, because I think like it's obedience, and it's also like you're organically a part of the community because of church, and that's just like the number one thing that I would want somebody listening to take away from this is like you don't have to go out and seek approval from man or approval from the industry. In reality, like we're designed to be in a local church and within local community, and like if the Lord wills it, then the Lord is going to elevate you and platform you like at such a time. Like, you know, David in 100%. The Bible, he was out there taking care of his flock, and that's when he was called. Like he was stewarding what he was called to steward at the time, and then he was called into an elevated like a platform. So yeah, I think that's really vital, like to focus in on that and not get not like almost copy the industry, like copy the secular, because I think we often see the music industry like a lot of it is just surrounded by like chasing your dream, going after your career and making a name for yourself, when in reality, like we were never, and I've said this so many times on this podcast, we were never called to make idols out of ourselves. Like we're just called to steward the gift that's within us, and the Lord will do all the platforming. The Lord will do that, you know, and so that's something also I love about Wisdom Moon, who's put us together. Praise the Lord for him. He's so incredible. He always speaks about that with the marketing, and to not like shine a light on ourselves, but also to like to steward is the right word, to steward what the Lord has given you. If he's given you a great idea for a marketing thing, do it, but don't hold your whole identity to it if it doesn't work or if it doesn't. So that's cool. I love that.
That's so good.
I wanted to hear slightly more, if you don't mind sharing, about the kids ministry, like how you said that you've learned more about worship in there. Like what are some things from that ministry that you've learned?
Yeah. So when I did a year of school, and it was such a healthy time for me, the Lord, like it was the same year we started our church, and the Lord really took me, I think, to that place to identify who I was. He taught me so much about the purity worship can hold when you're just looking at his face. And when you're not looking, you're not trying to write for anybody else. You're not trying to write for the approval of anyone else. You're not like waiting for, you can just get caught in such a cycle of like waiting for someone else to notice you when God already notices you, you know? And so I think he took me into that place to literally show me, like, if you just will only look at me, I'll take you where you need to go, you know? And I'm a people pleaser at heart, and I had to learn to be a God pleaser. So anyway, after that year, the Lord pulled me back, and I ended up dropping out of school, which is my favorite thing to call myself, college dropout. And then I went back to my church, came on staff full time. And at the time we had this other couple running kids ministry, and I was kind of working it with them. I was a nanny for a long time, so I love working with kids. And they called me on a Saturday, and they said, hey, we're going in to give birth to our child, and we're going to pass you off kids ministry. We're really not sure what it looks like for us after it might be yours. And I was like, oh, okay. And they were great. Like they helped me a ton, you know, but that was kind of like the point where I was like, okay, I don't really know what I'm doing. And for a few months, I'll be honest, I just ran it like as if I was holding it until someone that was supposed to run it came. And I was in our church service one time, and one of our pastors got up and she said, "Can we have all of the kids go and get around Jordan? And can we have them pray for her?" And when the kids came around me, the Lord like broke my heart and showed me how he sees them. And I just started weeping. And the Lord, they all had their hands in the air. They all had their hands on me. And I just remember thinking, like, there's such a purity and an innocence to them. There's nothing jaded about kids. Like, kids are the most honest. I have the craziest stories of the things. You could start an entire podcast off of what kids tell you about their parents.
Oh my gosh, please
in
do.
kids ministry. It's hilarious. But in that moment, the Lord told me, I'll teach you more about worship here than you'll ever learn on a stage. And whether you're going to take on kids ministry for a week or you're going to take it on for the rest of your life, you need to give it your entire yes. And I was like, okay. And so I actually stepped out of worship for a significant amount of time. I went full-time into kids. And that following Sunday, after the kids prayed for me, we had kids with additional needs show up. We had kids in foster care show up. And it was like such a proving ground of where you create a place, people will come. And I put my entire heart into kids ministry. And I've just seen the way that kids get to see the Lord is so beautiful because there's nothing standing in between. There's no fear. There's no wondering, will God do what he says? You just tell them, hey, God says this about you. And they're like, okay. And then they walk like it, And so I think, it's just taught me so much about what God says about me, what God says about others, and what I believe about worship.
Yeah.
100%. I can see the purity in that, and like the purity in the way that kids worship even has always been something that has touched my heart too. So I can relate there.
There's nothing to teach you how to lead a room either, rather than leading for kids, because they are like either the most engaged or the most disengaged. And one of the girls that leads worship for our kids, she's made for it. She'll literally have her guitar and she spins in circles with her guitar around the room. And the kids are like, yes. But when she leads in main service, you can tell like she knows how to engage people because she has learned how to engage kids. It's like the best practicing ground for any person that wants to get better at engaging a room. You should lead kids worship.
Oh my gosh, what great advice.
So
I can also attest to that because I'm a youth leader at my church and I do a lot of the worship leading for youth. And it's just like, it's so hard sometimes because you just feel like they're completely like just not even present in the room. But then, the Lord gives you this grace and it is such a great training ground for also when you're leading like larger congregations with adults. It's a safe place to learn. What's something that maybe both of you have learned about engaging a room? Like, do you have any tips and advice for worship artists or worship leaders?
I think it's like sometimes you talked about in youth. Like I've led in youth for a long time now, and it's okay to slow down and stop sometimes. Or like it gets uncomfortable. It's okay to sit in the uncomfortable for a little bit. Like a lot of times it feels like this is not going well. I just need to push through and get to the next thing. But really that's dishonoring to the ones you're leading. And sometimes the one she's talking about also leads in youth, and she's so good at pausing and speaking to what they need and to what they're feeling. And it is such a muscle that you have to train and grow, but learn to discern when you need to say something and when you need to put down the song or put down the guitar and say, hey, like find what they need in a room and speak to that. And then you'll find when you do that and then you go into the next song, they're 10 times more engaged because you've spoke to them and you've connected them to what they need, you know?
Yeah, I would say it's so important to like, my dad always told us this too, like open your eyes when you're leading worship. Sometimes it can get really easy to go into like our own place, but when you're leading worship, you're actually there to lead others. And to his point, like it's so important to ask God, you don't want to expect like it can be frustrating to be up there worshiping and being like, why is no one engaged? But not everyone has gotten the opportunity to learn about worship the way that I have, and sometimes it's important to slow down and actually teach a moment, because sometimes they're not worshiping because they don't want to. Sometimes they're not worshiping because they actually don't have the knowledge. And so for us to look out and say, oh, okay, I actually am feeling, Jesus moving right now, but they actually aren't connecting with this yet. And for exactly what he said, just to stop and to actually explain, this is why we worship. This is actually what the Bible says, to lift our hands, to raise our voices. It actually says in the Bible, God likes when we do this. And my dad always shares this example when we go places and says, when you go to a football game, if your team wins, if you don't stand up and cheer, like, you're weird. You know what I mean? Like, you're weird if you don't cheer for your team. And it's the same in worship. When the person who created you walks into the room, if you have no response to it, you're weird. And so but people don't always grow up knowing that, though. And they haven't gotten the opportunity to learn that. And a lot of them are walking in carrying a lot of heavy stuff. And sometimes it just takes us being willing to stop, even for that one person, to say, hey, Jesus wants you so badly to feel free in this room and to leave every burden at the door. And you're allowed to do that here.
Yeah. And it's our job and our role to break down the walls and use our song and our words as weapons against the strongholds that they've built up, because there's multiple voices whispering to them in that room that want to keep them from worshiping and from connecting. And if your eyes are closed the whole time, or you're turned around, like, it's so much harder to see what they need. And it's our responsibility to break that down in them so they can connect.
100%. And it's our role, like, as a worship leader, it's in the title, leading. We are called, like, I almost every time I worship lead, I envision myself like holding the congregation by the hand and like ushering them in to the Lord's presence. And like, exactly what you said. It's a moment to share revelation. It's a moment when they've stopped, when they're no longer following as they probably could be. And you've noticed that because your eyes are open, you're aware that they've let go. Maybe it's just using the analogy of holding hands. Like, it's actually, it is very much your role. You've been given the authority to then like speak into that, to pastor that, to shepherd that. And exactly what you guys said, like, you're doing a disservice if you just continue on. Like, you get to experience the Lord by yourself, close your eyes, turn around, don't worry about the congregation, when in reality they don't have the same revelation that you've just been given by the Lord, which is such a privilege. Like, worship leading is such a privilege. So I hope that's encouraging to people listening that might be worship leading as well. That's so good. Such great advice. I wanted to quickly jump back to community, and you mentioned being in Nashville. There's so much going on all the time. We've actually birthed For the Glory, which is, if you're new to this channel, this is For the Glory. We basically just platform good Christian music, and we try and bring artists and people that love music all together for the glory of God. And so we've decided, because we feel that there's not too much community, at least in our area, to start an online community space called Glory Gather, which we're going to be launching this year. Very exciting stuff. But basically the heart behind Glory Gather is to develop and disciple Christians within the music industry. So you don't have to just be an artist. You can be like a marketing person, a manager, a producer, writer. And we want to see this thing go global. A lot of our heart is to just break down barriers and break down like the gatekeeping and how people often like lean towards copying the secular music industry, where we've actually been called to bring a kingdom culture. Yeah, I guess my question to you guys is, like, when hearing that there's communities like this birthing, what's something that you might like to see out of that? What do you have faith for in the next season of this Christian music industry?
I would say I love that this generation is coming back to a pure-hearted worship and coming back to the real thing. And we do this thing called Captivated, and it's our young adults group, and it's to behold and to be held by him. And this generation can sniff out like fake from like a mile away. But I think it's so beautiful because they just want pure and innocent. And I think you creating an online community where people can come and find like-mindedness, because it takes more than just one person, right? And so for you to create a community where people can come and meet other like-minded, pure-hearted worshipers, people who have pure intention, people who just want to see the name of Jesus magnified above everything else, for you to start something that actually keeps people from walking alone, I think is so beautiful. Like, I totally believe this generation is going to, one of our mission statements at our coffee shop on our property is that we will see suicide, depression, and anxiety decrease by giving them a community to do life with. And so for you to give creatives a community to do life with, like, we'll eradicate loneliness. Like, we'll write good songs, sure, but we'll eradicate loneliness, and we'll eradicate depression and anxiety and suicide, and we'll give people a community to do life with like-minded believers.
I think something what you said about it really excited me is you said it's not just for the songwriters and the quote unquote worship leaders. It's for everyone. It's for the marketers. It's for all the people. And I think something that I so desire everyone to know is that the stage is not the only way to worship. There's a Hebrew word in the Bible. It's avodah, and it has 3 meanings in the word. It's work, service, and worship all together in one. And they're not separate. What you do for work is worship. You don't even have to be inside the church to worship. Your life is worship. And I love that you're gathering all these people together in community, and they're learning that. And I see that in the communities I'm fighting is they are learning that and grasping that. And I want more people to know that, because I've seen so many people discouraged that they don't sing. And if you can't sing, then you can only worship when you're being led by someone who can sing. And that's not worship. That can be worship, but that's not worship as a whole. What you do in your life is worship unto God. And that's what I'm really excited for.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like the whole, how For the Glory was birthed was out of 1 Corinthians 10:31, which says, whatever you eat, whatever you do, whatever you drink, do it all for the glory of God. And it's like, it's basically what you just said. No matter what you do, whether you're an artist, whether you're somebody behind the scenes, like you are worshiping the Lord when you're glorifying him. And when you're making music, and when you're even just behind the scenes of putting out music maybe, or helping an artist, like mentoring an artist, whatever it may be, like you are ultimately, you're pushing out Jesus' name to a world that is full of darkness. You're pushing out light. And I think that's a really exciting part about Glory Gather that we're looking forward to, is just like continuing to develop those people, to disciple those people. And also, like, some people, I think there's a lot of people that are doing music that have found faith that maybe don't actually go to a church, or they don't have community at all, and they're just they like Jesus, or they like the idea of Jesus, and they're like, oh, I'll be a Christian artist, so there's so many unchurched people that could do with a lot of discipleship, that could do with a covering, with accountability, and with like real people doing real life with them, alongside them. So that's what I'm excited about, and it's cool to hear what you guys have faith for as well. Super encouraging.
So good.
So good. Well, this brings us to the final part of the podcast, which I'm semi-sad because this has been one of my favorite conversations. I would love to get you guys to put us onto a song. We do this every episode if you're new here. We just play a little bit of a song, and we jam out together, and you guys get to like find a new artist or find a new song that you might like. So do you want to just intro it, and I'll hit play, and give us a little bit of a synopsis of why you chose this song?
Yeah, this song is it's Footstool by Mitch Wong, and I I saw the question and I was just like, who should I say? And Mitch came to my mind. And we've had like the privilege to write with him, and he's just the sweetest human being ever. One of my favorite people I've ever met, and he's just such a good example of doing life and music and worship with a pure and honest heart. And it's like one of the coolest things to see in a person who's done it so much is they're still doing it so healthy and so awesome. And so this is the song.
Footstool.
Yeah.
Let's listen.
Heaven is your throne and the earth is your footstool. There's nobody above you, Lord. There's nobody above you. There is no match for your majesty.
Dang. You see, I wish I could play the whole song, but I will get copyrighted and we'll have to edit a very small portion of that in. But you guys should listen to the entire song because that was my first time listening to it. And I'm also watching the official lyric video and it's such a vibe. I love it. I love the little inflection he did like at the end of a phrase. Like I just, that was really sick. Beautiful lyrics too. He's incredible. Also, he's such a diverse artist. Guys, if you have not listened to Mitch Wong, what are you doing? He is one of Australia's gems. And he's such he looks like a beautiful person. I would love to meet him one day. So maybe when I come to Nashville, this is what's going to happen. I'm so excited for that. So fun. Thank you guys so much. This has literally been such a beautiful, beautiful time together. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys had such beautiful like responses, and I just think I can see your hearts, and it's beautiful on display. It's just like pure and it's lovely. So thank you so much for being on, and thank you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye. So good.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to the For the Glory podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes to learn more about For the Glory and everything we're doing in the music industry. If you've enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it if you left us a review. It really helps us reach more people for God's kingdom. And if you'd like to partner with us financially to keep this work going, head to our website for more information. Your support is what makes this possible and helps the Christian music scene flourish. We can't wait to catch you on the next episode. Be blessed.